Okay, so this is Ryan Sarasaris, and this is my video log 4 or 5, or one of those. Deal with that. I'm supposed to make a response to the film we watched in my philosophy 32A class, the Koch brothers Exposed, which basically delves into the influence that the Koch brothers, David and Charles Koch, who are, of course, the leaders of Koch Industries, which is mainly oil and energy. So in this documentary we see the different influences that they have, of course, using money, using monetary means to affect our democratic process. So there are various things that we see are the resegregation of schools, cancer, and CrossFit, which is a small community that one of their factories is near, the Keystone XL pipeline, and their influence on higher education. So these guys are extremely intelligent in the way that they're doing things. It's funny because, you know, they obviously grew up in a household that was very ideological, and ideological in the ways of racism and classism. So we have them starting out in areas of education, and we know that, and this is a personal thing that I am very strong about, is that education is the source of change and power, whether it be for minority groups, whether it be women or Hispanics or African Americans and blacks. It starts with education, especially in this country. We can see that the root of many problems in poorer areas, you know, whether they can get jobs or are successful in life, starts with education. And so these guys, the Koch brothers, are not only segregating the schools, and in doing this, you know, they're not really segregating as much as creating neighborhood schools, which means, of course, neighborhoods in themselves are predominantly race-oriented, whether it be whites or blacks in these areas. So the schools have to go, the people have to go to these specific schools in their neighborhood. So in doing that, we have teachers who don't want to work in these schools for minorities, and then, of course, that continually breaks down the quality of education. And then with the higher education, they are the money they fund for different universities. They're required; these campuses are required to hire candidates that will teach the ideology of the Koch brothers. So yet again, we're sending people out into this world who are going to be the future leaders, and they have this twisted ideology of how the country should be run because they're being taught that in the universities. And they're being taught that and it's twisted because it's all for money. And not only that, the amount of money that they push in towards Congress to get certain things passed so that they can increase their profits. And so we have a Congress that's supposed to represent the people, which obviously they have not been doing for a very long time. We have a Congress of people who would rather accept money than actually help people out. You know, and it's this elitism because, of course, our Congress, which is made up of generally very wealthy people, are not going to care about what the middle class or poor have to go through, especially when it comes to things like taxes that would directly affect them. And yet they flip it and they twist it into a way that says, no, our economy is based on letting the rich gain more profit and the poor to become poor. Of course, they don't say it that way. It's very well spoken way of saying that. And it's scary because, you know, we made jokes about, you know, the corporations run this country, and in a way it's not really a joke, it's the truth. You know, with that previous law, I can't specifically remember, being passed, that, you know, that allows large companies to fund presidential campaigns. And, you know, I would make jokes about, well, Walmart's going to buy the next election. It's not necessarily Walmart, it's the Koch brothers. It's disgusting that we allow lobbyists and companies to control the outcome of laws that personally benefit themselves and negatively affect the large portion of this country. And the way they can get this passed is by using propaganda. That's another thing the Koch brothers do with they you know, they are pushing money to basically brainwash people into letting them being taken advantage of. They twist the ideas and the truths in this world. They take advantage of their personal beliefs to allow legislation to be passed, to allow certain candidates for higher office to be put in place who are not at all looking out for the better interests of the people in this country. So all in all, it's hard because there's only so much someone like me can do. At the same time, I guess the best thing I can do is vote and try and do my best to go against this ideology and try and educate other people as much as I can on this and urge them to vote, because that's the only real way we can change something, is to realize that the people in this country, the majority, and when I say majority I mean the American people as opposed to the twisted and corrupt people in the government, we are the ones that have the power, and the way we do it is by voting and changing and making sure we're educated on the real issues in this country and not on the smoke and mirrors that are completely being shown in our media all the time, that things that do not affect us directly, that are generally based on, you know, personal subjective ideologies. So that's basically what I have to say on that. So that is all. Thank you very much. Bye.